What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today I'm going to talk about the fact that we got rookie minicamp coming up on Friday, and this is finally my evaluation, my assessment of the draft that Washington just had, and what I think of the players, and in comparison what I thought of some of the picks. Some things I felt they could have done differently, but at the same time, I understood it. This draft, as I was going through my process, I did realize that coming down towards the end of the draft, and I made it a point of saying this, coming towards the end of the draft, a lot of teams were going to be picking best player available or best player of need. Even though in my not mock draft, I had Trey Amos to us, Trey Amos still came to us, but he fell in the draft. So, again, same thing with the first pick in the draft. But this was clearly a draft where best player available was just going to be the thing. The draft boards for everybody was all over the place. And it was one of those things where I kind of saw this happening. But I'm going to go ahead and get into the picks and give you my fair assessment of these picks and what I thought about it. So starting at the top, Josh Connolly Jr. I thought this was a very smart pick. I thought it was a very good pick. Especially when you're talking about your competition in your own division is the Philadelphia Eagles, who've built this monstrous line and have focused on their running game and protecting Jalen Hurts and protecting Jalen Hurts and protecting the running game and being able to open up the holes for a bigger, massive running game. So, to be quite honest, the Josh Connolly pick makes a lot of sense. Now, this doesn't mean anything negative or bad for Brandon Coleman, because Brandon Coleman could still end up being the right tackle. What this rookie minicamp is going to show us is, one, they're going to probably more than likely operate Will Connolly out of not only the two tackle positions, but they're probably going to test them at guard as well, just to see what they can do, because we've seen this before. You got to understand, Laramie Tunsil will be 31 coming up. So you're talking about a guy that is eventually going to be a piece that, don't get me wrong, Trent is still playing, and Trent is 40 or about to be 40. So you're talking about a chance that Laramie Tunsil could probably play just as long. But again, if you want to eventually do a transition where, hey, maybe Ben Coleman flips back to the left side, or William Connolly is just going to be your left tackle and Brandon Coleman is going to be your right tackle, this is actually a it's a very great pick. So with that, I did like the Josh Connolly pick. Next is Trey Amos. Again, not mock draft, best player available. Again, my reasons for Trey Amos had a lot to do with the factor of, Jonathan Jones being up there in age, and at the same time Trey Amos being scheme diverse that you can put him in Joe Witt's scheme and end up in a situation where he's a much better corner than you can ever imagine. And if you wanted to, you can bump Sandra Steele back to the inside if you wanted to. I think Sandra Steele had a fantastic season playing outside, but we'll see what happens when it comes to that. Again, remember, Sandra Steele is a converted wide receiver, so he kind of had that same Travis Hunter type of style where it was like because he played receiver, he understood the tendencies that receivers could have. So again, we'll see what happens, but I love the Trey Amos pick. The next pick was Jalen Lane, the wide receiver out of Virginia Tech. Jalen Lane is a utility player. I know at Virginia Tech he didn't have a lot of he didn't get a lot of burn at Virginia Tech because their quarterback play was just horrible. For anybody who watches the ACC like myself, Virginia Tech, that was the one thing about them. Their quarterback play was just bad. But he now frees up other players. We've seen guys like him be able to transition into doing things. Like we saw with OZ last year, where it was like OZ was the punt returner, he could be the kickoff returner, and he can also be a receiver when you go to the four wide or whatever, how many wide you want to go out, and become a threat in that area too. Jalen Lane could be the exact same way. He's a lot faster, but you like his ability to maneuver and get out of trouble and get out of trouble with speed. So with that, I like the Jalen Lane pick. I don't know if they had to draft him so early on, but I get it because a lot of guys that had speed started to go off the board. So I kind of understood that. Again, was I looking for more guys that had height? I was, but again, I understand it and I get it. So that it made sense. But again, very good utility player. The same thing applies to so the next guy that was picked was Keion Madrano, the linebacker out of UCLA. This particular pick confused me a lot. And I will tell you, and the reason why I say that is because last year you just drafted Dominique Hampton, who plays very similarly to Keion Madrano. So that right there kind of confused me, unless there's this push for Dominique Hampton to be more of a linebacker and less as a safety, or Kane being more of a safety and less of a linebacker. He's very aware of the football, but there's a lot of times he gets really taken out of place, which is why the pick kind of confused me, especially when you have Dominic Hampton, who was better at space awareness and play recognition than Keion Madrano was. So I didn't understand the pick. Not only that, if you were going to pick somebody, I would have rather them had taken Major Burns out of LSU, who would have been a better player. He plays linebacker and he plays safety very well. So the Keion Madrano pick kind of confused me, especially like I said, you already had Dominic Hampton on the team already, and the fact that a guy like Major Burns, who's a better player, would have probably been a better fit. So we'll see what Kane can do. He is on the team, but I didn't necessarily get excited about that pick. Last but not least is the running back Ja'Cory Merritt out of New Mexico. He's actually out of New Mexico. They're talking about him out of Arizona. I think he only played like one game in Arizona, but I understand why they like this guy. He has that running style that's kind of like Adrian Peterson, Steven Jackson, and Lawrence Phillips. And what I mean by that is that he has that style where he will run into you full steam ahead, and he'll either be able to run you over or break out and run past you and get the touchdown. Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick at all. I would rather they had went with maybe like a Raheem Sanders. Raheem Rocket Sanders out of South Carolina, who I feel is a better all-around back. Now Rocket doesn't catch out the backfield as much as Jacory did when Jacory was in New Mexico, but I just felt that Raheem Rocket Sanders was a better back. But he's not the only one. I also kind of thought that Montrell Johnson out of Florida would have probably been another guy, a big, better back that could catch out the backfield and has versatility to him as well. I felt that those would probably been better choices, but don't get me wrong, the Jacory choice isn't bad. It's not a bad choice. I just felt that there were guys that were better that they could have taken. And in fact, Raheem went undrafted and went to the Rams. So that means we're going to have the opportunity to see this guy. We make the playoffs, we're going to more than likely see this guy. So keep an eye out on him. But again, Jacory isn't a bad running back. I will tell everybody this. Don't expect for him to beat out Brian Robinson or even a Chris Rodriguez at this point. He may come into rookie minicamp and OTA slightly rusty because he didn't play last year. So that's going to be something that could be very detrimental to him and could impact how he is perceived in the long run. So he's going to have to really show how good he can be. So that is what I felt. Undrafted free agents, the Jacory Brooks, not a bad pickup. I've told y'all on this platform, I like Trayshawn Holden a whole hell of a lot better. Dallas snagged him and got him off of the undrafted heap, which was crazy that he went undrafted. And I think that teams are going to be upset with themselves when they see him play. And when he actually gets playing time and gets burned, because he's one of those special ones. Ricky Barber, I really liked that one. That is like Ricky Barber, even though he's 295 for a defensive tackle, I think that they're going to try their best to convert him to an edge guy because of the fact that he does have some speed to him that would make him very effective coming off the edge. He is very aware of the running game, and there were times that we saw him play edge at UCF. So that was a good grab. Who else? Jacoby Jones, again, not a bad grab. Thought that was a smart pickup too. Again, there were guys that I thought that were out there that I thought were better, but I also feel that with this undrafted class, they were also looking for special teamers because there are a lot of guys that got special teams ability. If you pay attention, I mean, they got, I think it was 2 linebackers, I think 2 safeties, 2 corners, 2 wide receivers. So they got a lot of speed guys off the edge. The one thing that kind of shocked me was Colin Shalita, quarterback. They must feel that what is his name? Oh my God, the fourth quarterback on the team. I can't think of his name right now. Sam Hartwell. I think that's it. But either way, they must feel they're not gonna be able to keep him around. Even though it would make sense that he would be able to come in and end up being the 3rd string quarterback and possibly make the team. But again, I'm not certain how that's really going to work and how that's going to happen, which is why I think that's probably why they grabbed this particular quarterback. But again, we'll definitely see what happens. Like I said, rookie minicamp is here. It's happening on Friday. Most times with rookie minicamp, it's not it's not things that it's not what you're going to see. It's what we're going to find out about them. One, we're going to find out how in shape a lot of them are. Most of them probably will be in shape by the time that the minicamp comes around, because they've been working out the whole time. We're going to find out how many of them really learned that abbreviated playbook that was sent to them, to see how many of them understood it, how many of them can get around. Not only that, it gets you understanding, are these guys as good as what you thought they were? They will have the benefit of playing against some guys. Even I don't know if some of the second year guys will be at the mini camp, but we will definitely see. Like I said, I'm excited for this upcoming season. But like I said, that was my assessment of the draft picks. Wasn't a bad draft class. It was just that you could tell that they were drafting best player available. There were guys that I felt that they could have taken instead of the guys that they taken. Only the last two picks, Madrano and Jacory. But again, still not bad picks. We'll see what happens when this rookie minicamp happens. Y'all tell me what y'all think. How do y'all feel about this draft class? What did y'all think about the draft class? And do some of y'all feel the way that I did, that there were guys that they could have taken that wasn't taken and they did take instead? And were there undrafted free agents that you may feel that they should have taken? Y'all tell me what y'all think. Other than that, this has been your man John Fortune, and it's been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.